Welcome to our session on the top 10 to-dos and tips or tools for SEO. So my name is Jason McDonald. We're going to run through some of the best practices at a basic level of how to succeed at search engine optimization. Of course, layman's definition, how do you get your company, product, service to the top of Google or Bing? And I would use this analogy of physical fitness to help you understand how it works. For those who are taking this either in video format or live, we are going to give away our toolbook. If you haven't already signed up for our mailing list, that has hundreds of free tools to help you with search engine optimization. So you'll get a PDF copy of that. Also, if you do join our mailing list, we have workbooks that we produce, and when those are in sort of review mode, we give out review copies, so sometimes you can get those workbooks for free too if you're on our mailing list. Yay, plug for the mailing list. All right, so what's our agenda? We're going to talk about some basics, and then we're going to dive into these tips and to-dos and tools, and then we'll motivate you a little bit about never stop learning, and you will get on your desk, sort of like Norma Ray, and you will shout to your compatriots there at your workplace that you are so totally jazzed about this activity, and they'll all give you a really weird look, but you won't care because you'll be so excited. All right, so let's talk a little bit about SEO and physical fitness, right? So I love to use analogies as I teach classes. I like to explain things, what we already know, to look at something that we don't know quite so much about. So we're January, it's January 2016 right now as we're recording this, and I think like many people are a little too chubby, and it's time to kind of get off the couch and try to be a little bit more physically active, right? So what's kind of that process of getting physical fit or getting better, getting in better health, better physical fitness? So what are our attributes? We have to have the desire. We have to want to do this, right? We have to want to do this, right? That's our first most important aspect. Then we have to learn some of the rules or best practices, like, hey, Jason, don't go to McDonald's every lunch and get a quarter pounder with cheese and a large fries and a huge shake. This is not going to help you lose weight, right? Got to go for that kale salad. I don't know how you feel about kale. Kale is the new lettuce. So you're going to have some rules and best practices about activities, food, diet, work, how to do some things better. And then you got to do this. You have to actually, this is such a depressing part about losing weight, right? You have to systematically do this day by day, week by week, month by month. You're going to measure your successes and your failures. You're going to be motivated, but you're going to take some metrics along the way, and you're going to never stop learning in terms of exercises and things, how to play tennis better, etc. And you've got to have this positive attitude that you can do it and you're not going to give up. And SEO has many of the same attributes as that type of a process. So that's a good analogy as we start to think about it. Now, among the attributes that I think are so important to wrap your head around is the basics matter. They matter a lot, a lot. So my beloved SEO industry is sort of full of charlatans, smarty pants, technical people. They kind of intimidate you. They kind of make you feel stupid. There are a lot of them, not all of them, but many of them sort of have a bad attitude, and they sort of convey that to you, that you're just a mere mortal and you don't really understand, the force, and you can't really do it. Well, that might be true in terms of getting to the Olympics, right? But most of us don't want to get into the Olympics. We just want to be better than our competitors. So there's some options, right? You could go buy some really expensive machines. There are really expensive tools for SEO you can go purchase. You can hire somebody who's super overpriced and kind of arrogant to help you out. You could join a gym, some program. There are some programs out there that you can pay a monthly subscription fee, but not use them. You could take some insane supplement. Maybe it's a weird email from somebody on some link scheme. Or you could do something really crazy. You could start with some very basic principles and follow those principles. And guess what? My feeling is if you do some of the basics, you'll generally crush your competition. You don't have to do super crazy stuff. You got to do some basic stuff. So I'm a huge believer in the basics, and that's what I'm going to explain to you. Now here I have some good news for you, right? You are not training for the Olympics. Most of us are not trying to get to the top of car insurance, right? We're just trying to beat our competitors, and most of our competitors are not that great. They're not that smart. Let's be honest, they're not. So we don't have to run faster than that bear. We just have to run faster than our buddy. We just have to beat our competitors in our industry. And for most of us, that really isn't that difficult. So that's a really important piece of good news. So we're going to go through and kind of think about it as basic training, and we always have a few stragglers show up here so you know who you are. So we're going to do some basic training, some basic skills, and I think the really good news is, in my experience as a consultant and expert and all that jazz, the basics have a tremendous return on investment. So you want to keep that analogy in mind as we go through, keep that physical fitness, keep that motivation as we get started. All right, so let's talk about tip 0, right? It's just to understand the basic layout of what we're trying to achieve. So let's pop over here to Google. And these links, you'll get all these links in the email that we're going to send out. I think tomorrow we'll send out an email. We'll have the links in the video and all that jazz. So let's just pop over here to Google. And just a couple sort of heads up. So over here on the top right, you'll see my beautiful picture, and I don't have enough hair. And if anyone would like to donate a hair transplant to me, that would be awesome. So I'm over here. If you see your picture, if you see log in, you've got to get non-customized results. And one way you do that, I've turned off that on my account settings, or go up here, go to new incognito window, and that's going to turn off your customization, because Google does a lot of customization, and it will show you the same results over and over, and that might not be the way the world looks. Now I've turned that feature off. All right, so let's just take a really simple search. I like to use this search when I teach my classes. So let's just take, I can't even spell today, let's take motorcycle insurance and hit go. And let's just look at the layout of the Google screen. So we start to understand that layout, okay? So we have our search query. We're going to talk about keywords and some tools and some tips on how to deal with keywords. We've got our ads, top left, top right. The reality of ads is a lot of people just ignore them. I teach AdWords. We have a class on AdWords. You can do a lot with AdWords, but the reality is many people ignore them. And then we have our SEO organic results. So these organic results, top 3, think of the Olympics, gold, silver, bronze. Top 3 is 65, 70% of click volume. That's where the top 3 are. And then you have top 10 on page 1. Saddest position on SEO is 11. You didn't make page 1. That's really sad. Nobody's going to look at you. Nobody clicks through to page 2. So you got to be on page 1. You got to know your keywords. You got to think about your layout. Now let's do a different search. Let's do one of my other favorite searches, pizza. Pizza. Now notice I did the search pizza, and this little box appears here. The technical term for this box is the snack pack, right? That is a very technical term. The snack pack refers to the Google local results, heavily influenced by reviews on Google. So Google reviews, formerly known as Google Plus reviews, right? So Google reviews, Google Plus reviews, they drive that search. So if you see that local snack pack, then you've got to think about, how am I going to influence the snack pack, the local game? That's going to vary. Now, let's say that you're Martha Stewart, right? And, you know, how to trust a turkey, that's important to you, right? You're trying to get people to look at your program. When you do something like that, you're going to see YouTube videos or images. So you want to start with the architecture of your searches and understand keywords, where the ads are, where the local. Think of what's out there that you want to get to the top of. Just like, hey, I'm going to go to the Olympics. What sport? Oh, you know, I'm going to be a pole vaulter. Okay, great. I want to be a synchronized swimmer. Okay, great. Different games, different types of things you want to influence. So starting point is just look at your search keywords and look at the opportunities that exist. All right, so the first to do, and you can see this from what we just did, you got to make a keyword list. You got to know your keywords in a very systematic way. And I bet you dollars to donuts, most of you don't have a keyword list. Most of you don't really know your keywords. You're not being very systematic. That's like going up to mom and saying, hey, mom, I want to go to the Olympics. Okay, great. What sport? I don't know. I can't help you. Hey, mom, I want to go to the Olympics. Okay, what sport? Pole vaulter? Okay, now I can help you. I can help you with what you need to do that. So we've got to know our keywords, and our first to do is we have to make a keyword list, which gets us to one of our first tools. All right, so let's pop over here to Google, and again, you'll have all these tools, so don't freak out. You'll be able to go back to them. If you get the tool book, you'll have hundreds of free tools. I've just talked to a client in Texas. It's going to be a beautiful spring weekend in the central part of the United States. So while all your friends are out enjoying the flowers and jogging and stuff, you can be inside at your computer working on your SEO this weekend with the toolbook. All right, let's go over to this first tool. It's called Uber Suggest. Now, what's cool about this tool is it is based on Bing. It uses the Bing API, and it pulls the suggestions that you see when you start typing. So let's type in industrial fans. Let's say that we're an industrial fan manufacturer, and we kind of want to know what are the ways that people search for industrial fans, because we've got to build our keyword list. So we go to ubersuggest.org, we put in one of our primary keywords, and then we go down to this list, industrial fans for rent. You go, hey, that's us. Yeah, we do for sale. We don't do for rent. Oh, look at that, industrial fan blowers. That's a great word, isn't it? Blower, fan, tomato, tomato, lawyer, attorney. You got to get those synonyms. Let me sort of zoom in for you guys. So you can see over here, it's like shopping for keywords. So you go to Uber Suggest, you put in your primary keywords, you hit plus, 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 you hit get, copy, paste, you're on your way to building a much more organized keyword list. Now that's driven by, in this case, it's driven by Bing. Similar search activity to Google. That means when you type in industrial fans, it's pulling all of these, and you can go here and you can put A, B, C. You can see how Jason has no life, that I figured that out. Or you can go to the beginning, further proof that I have no life, and you can go B, C, etc. And you can see additional search terms. That also works on Google. These are the Google suggests. Whatever you type in, Google's looking at what people type into Google. It's constantly snooping on you. So it's constantly paying attention. Hey, Google, I love you, by the way, if you're listening, to what's going on. So you can put in anything. Let's say you do Italian food. Put in Italian restaurant, okay? Restaurant near me, restaurant San Francisco, etc. Right? You can do that for anything. Why are women? That's what I thought. Why are men? We have to be gender neutral because we are in the Bay Area. That Google suggests is very important. Put in your keyword, industrial fans. Look at the suggest. The other big tip here is these guys at the bottom. Those are your related searches. So you're building that keyword. Those are two great tools. Now in the links, I have a video on YouTube on the Google Keyword Planner, which is the primary tool for this. It's a little cumbersome, it's a little crazy, so I recommend that you watch that video, and that's going to explain the Google Keyword Planner. 2 seconds about me. My name is Jason McDonald. I'm the director, head honcho of the JM Internet Group, and we love doing these trainings. I've got my information there on the screen. I'm, wonderful, yada, yada. I have this screen here. It says I'm super smart. So that's the point. You can check me out if you want online. All right, so let's talk a little bit about step 2. So we know our keywords, right? We've got to start keywords. Step 2, the to do, basic stuff, but the basic stuff will drive you to the top of Google. You have to put your content, your keywords, inside the correct HTML tags. Don't freak out. You've got to do this in a systematic way. It's not that difficult. Now, the tool here is kind of more of an informational research. It's the Google SEO Starter Guide. So I have a PDF link to that for you, a PDF. Now I'm going to go over to my desktop, and I'm going to open this document really quickly and show you this document. Let me drag that over here. You guys are seeing it. Yay. Okay, again, beautiful weekend. You can read this document. It also functions as a sleep aid. However, it is the only official guide that Google produces, and it's going to tell you some very important things, such as, hey, put your keywords inside of the title tag position. Now, if you're using WordPress, one of these types of software programs, you have a little homework. You got to figure out exactly how to tweak it to get it to create the correct code, but you're going to put those into your proper tag positions. And this document is going to basically explain what Google wants you to do. Now, here is an absolutely insane idea. If you want to get to the top of Google, do what they tell you to do. right? How crazy is that? So you can print this guide out, you can read this guide, you can give this guide to your team, you can roll the guide up, you can beat the guide, your team with the guide to get them to do what Google's telling you to do. And this is going to get you a long way towards success. Now, what we're talking about, do a search motorcycle insurance. We're going to look at our number one result, which is our progressive.com. Let's click over to our number one. So this is the best website in terms of SEO for that search term. Now let's look at this page. Let's right click, view page source. Don't freak out, never freak out. And let's just go Control F as in Frank and type in bracket title. This is one of the tags that Google is telling you got to put your keywords in. And you can see here, title, close title, and they've put in the phrase motorcycle insurance into that position. Now, the concept through all these tags, just really quickly, Control F, type in the word motorcycle, and you can see in yellow, you can see where they've put them into their code. You don't want to freak out about this, but you can see here is an H2 tag with the word motorcycle insurance inside of it. And see how that says Ride with America's Number One? We can go down here. That's this here. So the concept is know the tags, put the keywords in the proper positions of the tag structure. You're going to get a lot of mileage out of that in terms of succeeding. Basic stuff. This is not rocket science stuff. Basic. Now we're going pretty fast. So don't freak out. You can go back. We're talking about very basic things to do to succeed. Let's talk about number 3. So you may have heard, you may have realized, you may know already that Google pays a lot of attention as to who links to whom on the internet. Who links to whom on the internet. So the more links you have, the more websites that link to you, that say you're cool, you're important, you're relevant for a particular set of keywords, Google looks at those kind of like votes. The more votes you have, the better you do. Now, in our in-depth class, we go into a lot more detail. There's a lot more nuance. There's more to it than that. But the basic idea is understanding who links to whom and starting to solicit those links. Now, you want to solicit those links in a very active way. So if you're a politician, and somebody shoves a baby in front of you, you're going to kiss that baby. You're not going to say, is this a Republican baby? Is this a Democratic baby? Is this baby going to vote in New Hampshire? Is it going to go caucus in Iowa? No, you're just going to kiss the baby. The point here, and that's why I have this picture, that is Donald Trump, and this very excited woman is giving her baby to be kissed by Donald Trump. The point here is if you just understand that links matter, and you just start to get some of your ecosystem partners, your trade associations, your National Association of Industrial Fan Makers to link to you, that's that running faster than your buddy, not the bear, right? You're going to just be a little bit better. So you want to get those links. You want to be a little bit like Donald Trump in a good way, kissing those babies, shaking those hands out there politicking. So our number 3 tool is a tool that'll help you reverse engineer who links to whom on the internet. So you can see yourself, you can see your competitors, who links to whom. So let's, we can just stick with Progressive. Let's say Progressive. So let's say we're competing against Progressive. So I'm going to pop over to ahrefs.com. And again, in the links that you will get, I have some, honorable mentions. Okay. Let's go to ahrefs.com. And I'm going to sign in. I guess it's forgotten who I am. Okay, so I have the paid account. For free, you can do about 3 searches a day. So there's a free account, there's a paid account. Now, I'm going to go into what's called the Site Explorer, and I'm going to put the domain of my competitor. So you'd put your domain here to check out how you're doing, your competitor's domain here to check out how your competitor's doing. I'm going to hit search. What this tool does, it's almost like think of it like a vote intelligence machine. So your Hillary Clinton, your Donald Trump, your, what's that other guy? The other one running against Hillary Clinton. I want to say Bernie Sanders. And you're able to look into their voter registration rolls and see who's going to vote for them. So you can maybe steal some of those votes, maybe get some activity, etc. So you put your competitor in here. It's going to tell you their score on a 100-point scale. Higher is better. It's going to tell you how many websites link to them. This is a really powerful website. But again, it's all your competitors. It's what industry you are in. Now, at the bottom of this tool, sort of the left-hand side, you can click on referring domains. And again, this is like, imagine you're Bernie Sanders and you wanted to steal Hillary Clinton's voters, and maybe you snuck into the computer program at the Democratic National Convention, as computer, and you got her voter rolls. Just saying. You might want to go in here and you could see who these people are. This is the same idea. You're able to see who is who. And you can see County Imports is linking to Progressive. And then you can literally go check out County Imports and you can say, who is this and why are they linking and why don't they link to me, or what are they? How can I reverse engineer? How can I get similar voters, so to speak, to vote for me? So this tool is kind of like your secret intelligence tool. Who links to your competitors, who links to you, and you're going to grow that like a good politician by, aggressively soliciting links, growing those links. So that's tool number 3A. 3B is such an important tool. I wanted to just show it to you. Reviews matter a lot. We saw that when we did that search for pizza really quickly. You do the search for pizza. Who shows at the top is heavily influenced by the number of reviews they have on Google. Google has done a not so great job on Google+. So I have a tool here which is just so awesome. I love this tool. There's some things you just think, wow, I am so glad these people did this. What you can do here is you can put in your business name. Click out of that, get rid of that guy. So I'm going to put in my business name here, and I'm going to put San Jose, California. And then I'm going to hit get the review links. And so let's say we want to solicit reviews. We want to encourage people to review us, our happy customers. This tool is going to find you, and it's going to create a clickable link for you to give to your customers. So see that horrible, horrible URL? I'm going to copy that URL. Now I'm going to paste that URL up here so you can see it. It's horrible, right? You can also go to a bit.ly, which is a shortener, and you can take that horrible long URL, oops, and if it won't copy it, you can say find bit.ly. You go to tinyURL or something like that, go somewhere else, and you can shorten that link into something short and sweet. Okay, and then now I have a little link I can give to my customer. Hey, thank you so much for taking our classes or reading my books. Would you do me a favor and write a review? And I can email them that little short link, and look what it's going to do, which is so awesome. It's going to get them right to the review page. It's going to pop up the reviews, and all they have to do is log into Google and click on that blue button. So this tool is really awesome as a way to quickly get your customers to places where they can review you on Google, because Google's done a horrible job at making that easy. So that's so awesome. Number 3B. All right, number 4 is we're kind of going through our system, right? So think about physical fitness. We're learning some basics like, hey, don't eat at McDonald's. Stop with the Big Macs. Not good. And number 2, start walking around the neighborhood. Start getting off your couch and at least exercising a little bit. Maybe 3, here's how you do a sit-up, right? We're learning step by step what we need to do in terms of losing weight, getting better exercise, getting healthier, or in terms of SEO, we're learning, hey, know our keywords. Okay, great. We got a tool for that. Put our keywords in our page tags. Okay, great. We've learned that. We need some links. We've learned that. We've seen some tools that help us with links and reviews. Yay. Right now we're at number 4. We got to have content. Content is king, right? You've probably heard that content is king, and it's queen too, and it's jack, and it's 10, right? It's ace, right? Got to have good content, and you got to make a machine. That's why I have Andy Warhol here. It's my favorite artist. So he's like, hey, I'm a factory. I'm going to produce things, factory art. So you want to create a content machine. And as part of that content machine, you want to pay attention to what kind of content do your users like to consume? Because here's a shocking idea. Produce content that your users enjoy and read and share, and you're going to have content that people like, people link to, people share on social media, and Google, remember, Google's always, they're snooping on everything. They're learning what's going on, and that's going to feed into your SEO. All right, so let's go over and look at a tool for this guy. So I'm going to go over to my, every tool is my favorite tool, right? It's everyone, I love them all, except I love my dog more than my tools. All right, so let's go over here and let's look at BuzzSumo. So this tool, now it's the same kind of deal. It's got a free version, it's got a paid version. So I have the paid account. You can go with the free account. You can do maybe 3 or 4 searches a day. And what does it do, which is so awesome, is it tells you the most shared content across social media. That's important because that's what people like, what they share, and that's going to feed into your SEO. So you want to create good content that people like to share. So you can say, hey, I would like to know what's the most shared content on industrial fans. Just let's be crazy. Let's put in that keyword and hit search. And it's going to tell us, oh, we should have put a quotes in there. We'll put quotes, industrial fans, quotes, quotes, quotes to make it a little bit more narrow. And it's going to tell us what is the most thing. So here we go. Having created the market for big, beep, industrial fans, a manufacturer tries to go small, beep, 879 shares on Facebook, 1.5 thousand total shares. So you can put in your keywords and see what type of content are people sharing. So you get that insight. What else can you do, which is really cool? You can put your domain in, you can put a competitor's domain in, and it will tell you what content on their website is being shared. So this is, again, it's like the other link tool we saw. This is intelligence on what people like, what they're sharing, etc. Your competitors, yourself. Now, your content marketing machine is much more in tune with what users want. So number 4 tool, BuzzSumo, free version, paid version. Number 5 tool, I'm a big fan of this. It's a little bit controversial in the SEO industry. I really believe if you use press releases correctly and you syndicate those releases, you use some services that will push that news out to blogs and whatnot, they will feed back and help your search engine optimization. So press releases, they still help. I think they're still really good. I teach people tips and tricks and secrets about how to do this a little bit better. I just want to share with you here. This is a little web form that Duct Tape Marketing, hard to say, they produce a lot of fun concepts and stuff on marketing, obviously. And this is a little tool that they created, which you can just fill in and you can put your news in here. Hey, we just hired a new marketing manager and her name is Jane Smith and she's so awesome. And it will help you write your press release. And then what you can do, you can syndicate press releases out across the internet. I use a service called PR Web, and that feeds back into your SEO. It's very helpful for your SEO purposes. So you've got to learn a little bit about how to use press releases. Very helpful. Number 5. Number 6, you got to join the Mickey Mouse Club, right? So Google, right, they produce Google Webmaster Tools, which they renamed Search Console because they have a department at Google called Let's Rename Things All the Time and Totally Confuse Our Customers. And that department said, hey, what a great idea. Let's rename this Search Console because it'll really confuse people. So they renamed Webmaster Tools Search Console with absolutely changing nothing. So you just have to know, hey, now it's called Search Console. It used to be called Webmaster Tools, and it's kind of disorganized. You want to join it so that you can get some information from Google. So now I'm going to go over and I'm going to, again, you've got the links here. If you haven't joined the Search Console, aka Mickey Mouse Club, you're going to join that because Google's going to give you a lot of good, useful information on your website. So I'm logged into the Search Console here for our website. So you go to the console, you got to do a little monkey business to validate that you control your website. You're going to validate it. You're going to sign up. It does some really nice things for you. So first of all, it's going to give you a message. If you're in trouble, if you're on the naughty list, you'll get an email, you'll get a notification from Google, and then you can go, yikes, I need to fix what's making them mad. Very useful. It's going to give you some information on how you look on search. Site links. You can control those site links through here. The site links are, if you Google JM Internet Group, you'll see training, free stuff, AdWords, coupons, about. Those are driven by Google, and you can adjust those in Webmaster Tools. It's going to give you a little bit of information on who links to your sites, very useful, internal links. It's going to tell you, are you friendly for mobile? It's going to give you some information on who's clicking through, what your keywords are. So you get a lot of insider data on how your website's performing by joining Webmaster Tools, aka Search Console. And you get some new features, like you get alerted if you're on the naughty list. You can ask Google to reindex your site more quickly. That's why I call it Mickey Mouse Club. You get some bennies from joining that Mickey Mouse Club. So number 6, Webmaster Tools. Again, think of our process. Hey, we learn our keywords. Okay, great. We're going to put our keywords in our page tags. Okay, we've done that. We're going to build some links. Okay, we got that. We're going to start our content machine. So SEO, conceptually, it's not that difficult. It's very much like running a marathon. It is not conceptually difficult to run a marathon. It's not like building a nuclear power plant. Cross the finish line first. That's it. That's how hard it is, right? Not really complicated. Now, is it easy? No, you have to have a lot of discipline to run that marathon. It is not easy to run a marathon. I couldn't do it. But it's not like building a nuclear reactor or understanding a cell phone plan. It's not something of that level of complexity, right? It's not a cell phone plan. It's just simple. Same idea here. It's simple, but you got to stick with it. That's the trick. You got to stick with it. And you got to know where you're going. Let's talk about number 7. So you got to go technical. You got to check your technical SEO. You got to be, hey, how are we doing at a technical level? There's a lot of little bells and whistles that need to be done at a technical level. So number 7, go technical. So this is a fun little tool. It's called WooRank. A lot of these companies are trying to sell you on their own stuff, right? So this one, I ran it on my own site. They kind of let you run it once, and they put a cookie on you, and so you might have to clear your cookies and reset it. And so I am so tricky. I am so smart. I downloaded my PDF to show you guys. So you go to WooRank, you put your company homepage URL in there, you hit go, it's going to create this nice report of all these diagnostics. I'm going to look at the PDF that I produced of this guy for you. So what it does, it gives you a score, and then you can see down here, it's going to tell you things. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit better. Is that pretty good on your monitors? Yeah, it's not too bad. Okay, so here it's going to give you a little score, and then it's going to tell you things like, hey, this is your title. You get a green check for the length. This is your meta description. So it's going to go through, and it's going to give a lot of, hey, you're using header tags. These are your keywords. This is, what your keywords are, where their frequencies are. This is your alt attributes. This is your text to HTML. So that's why I call it a technical tool. It's, you don't have to speak a little geek here, but it's going to give you a little checkup. Oh, you've got a robots.txt. You've got the www resolve. So it's a nice technical checkup to, is your website doing the right things? You got to be able to do that and cross those T's and dot those I's to succeed. So WooRank is a really good one. In the toolbook, if you're crazy enough to sign up for our newsletter or get the code at the end of this webinar, you'll get a lot of really good email from us. Plus, you'll get the toolbook, and in the toolbook, you can look at other tools. There's a few other technical tools. WooRank is my favorite. It's really slick. They do a great job. It's just like a quick diagnostic. You have to speak a little geek to understand it. Very, very useful, though, as a checkup. Number 7. Number 8, we want to measure our rank on Google. So we want to know, hey, when you type in industrial fans, where do I rank? When you type in pizza restaurant, where do I rank? When you type in, divorce attorney, Dallas, Texas, where do I rank? When you type in, best hair loss cream for men, where do I show up? I want to know, am I in the top 10? Am I in the top 3? Am I on the page? You've got to measure that rank. Now, there's a lot of different tools for this. Unfortunately, in this case, many of the best tools are paid tools. So this is a webinar about free tools. I want to show you a cool free tool, which many people are not aware of. It's the local rank checking tool on Google. So I've got a link to it for you. And I'm just going to be crazy. I'm going to copy that link address. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to be really crazy. I'm going to go to Internet Explorer, right? Remember Internet Explorer? Yeah, right. Didn't work out so good, did it? So I'm going to sign out here. So I'm not signed in. That's what the beauty of this tool is. And I'm going to paste that in here. Okay, and what's great about this tool is you do not have to sign into AdWords to use this tool. And what does it do that's so beautiful? You can take a city and you can move around and see how you perform. So I can put in here SEO training, you know, something like that, and I can say, okay, let's Google in Fremont, and I can see where do I show here. So let's see, we're down here, you know, about number 10, right? So this is where we struggle a little bit with this keyword. It's a very hard keyword. So I can see here. Now I can change that location, and I can put in, say, my hometown, right? And I can do a preview, and I can see, hey, where do I show up if I were in Tulsa, Oklahoma? So for local, this is very good. So you see how we're a little bit better? So for local, this is a very useful tool. Let's say you're in Dallas, Texas, but you also service Plano and Addison and, you know, Arlington and places like that. You can move around, put in Arlington, Texas, put in your keyword, you know, pizza restaurant or, you know, a million different things, hairstylist, whatever, and you have different locations. You can see your rank, and then you can count, hey, where do I rank, right? Not the ads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 on the page. So here we're 10, 9, 8. We're number 8 for SEO training in Tulsa. SEO training online, let's see how we're doing that. That's much more focused for us. So I can see in that one, believe it or not, it changes based on where you are in the country. So we're number 4 for that one. So the idea is you can look at your rank across cities. You don't have to log into AdWords, and you can measure that in a nice, cool way. It's very useful for those of us that are doing local SEO and want to see our rank in various cities quickly. So that makes number 8, top 10. Number 9, you want to use Google Analytics to measure your results. So again, in our paid training, shameless plug for our paid training, we have an hour class. We dive into Google Analytics. We give out free no-dose pills and, you know, Excedrin and lots of caffeine. So during the class, nobody falls asleep. And we're going to dive into Google Analytics and learn some things about how Google Analytics works. So Google Analytics, number one tool for seeing what's going on with your website. So it's a Google tool. It's free. Remember how Google's snooping at everything. So they use this tool also probably to snoop on the whole behavior of the entire world. But what can you do? It's Google. So it's a free Google platform that gives you, hey, insight into what's going on your website. And just a couple really interesting things that I think are very important. This left-hand column, go to mobile, go to overview. This is going to tell you, which is a very important trend these days, how much of your traffic is coming from the phone. That's important because Google is very interested in mobile. If you get a significant portion of your traffic from mobile, you need to be pretty paranoid about how you show up on mobile. They also have links to tools which will check you out on mobile and give you some tips and pointers about whether you show up. It has some great tools like this user flow. Let that load for you there. So this is a way to see how are people coming through my website, and I can click on anything that they're coming through, and I can go, oh yeah, I just want to look at traffic that's hitting that page. We have a scholarship program. I want to see how they're moving through the website in this way. So there's a lot of really cool information in Google Analytics that you want to get and sign up and spend some quality time with it. Again, I would recommend a big coffee, a cup of coffee from Starbucks as you're working on it. And you're going to learn there's a lot of great information in here. They have some information on SEO. If you link it to Webmaster Tools, they will tell you whether you're getting traffic from Facebook, etc. They'll tell you what is going on your website. For instance, what are my top landing pages? It'll tell me that. My top landing page is my AdWords coupon. My second one is our scholarship. Our third one is our homepage. It'll even tell you, are you getting conversions as measured by a feedback form or inquiry from the website, etc. So Google Analytics is a little cumbersome, but lots of useful information in it. So it definitely makes my list. Like I said, I teach a class in it, and when we do the classes, because it's a little complicated, but it's very useful. So if you haven't used it, I really recommend that you do use it and spend some time learning it. It's a very valuable tool. So that's number 9 on the list. Okay, we're almost done. We're almost done. I'm doing really good on time. Number 10, right? Never stop learning, right? Never stop learning. So there's my cute, I don't know, 2nd grader, 3rd grader, and he's really jazzed and he's learning, and we want to have that same attitude towards, I don't know if you ever worked with like people in 2nd grade, right? They're so eager to learn and they're so excited about, oh gosh, I want to learn math, right? You know, and then by our age, right, it's been totally crushed out of us. So we're just like, I don't want to learn this, right? No, you got to kind of recapture that enthusiasm. And I've got a tool that's going to help you get jazzed. And it's also a really good tool when you do content. It's a good social media tool for content monitoring. So it's called Feedly. And it makes my list now. And those of you who've watched one of my webinars like this before, I've moved my tools around because things have changed, right? And social media is more and more and more important than it used to be. So I'm going to go over here to Feedly. And Feedly is a reader tool. It's based on, you can sign in with Google, you can sign in with Facebook. Here's what it does, which is so helpful for your learning. So you can create little folders in Feedly. It's not difficult. You just add content up here at the top. And again, in the toolbook, I have a list of the top blogs in the SEO industry. So you can then create a little folder in Feedly, and then you can see what those guys are publishing. And hey, look at this. There's an article on link building and the SEO Moz Daily Whiteboard Friday. And that's a huge topic, right? We just talked about that topic. So Rand Fishkin, he's one of the super gurus of SEO. He is sharing his knowledge for free about link building. And with Feedly, you can track that information and just quickly update yourself on, hey, what's going on in this industry? And you can see here, you can scroll, it's just like a newspaper. You scroll through, oh, a lot of these aren't interesting, just ignore them. And then you're looking for ones that you find interesting, and you have a little folder called SEO. And of course, I have my little other folders, right? So I've got my little other folder like on science. I love science. There's nothing to do. I can, hey, here's my science. So Feedly is great also for just organizing content. You kind of make your own special newspaper about things that you care about, and that's going to feed into your social, and it's going to help you to never stop learning. All right, so let's think about kind of our journey, a very quick journey here this morning. What have we learned? What's our concept? So among the concepts we've learned is SEO is like physical fitness, right? You've got to have the right attitude. The basics are incredibly important to it. Don't be intimidated. You know, like I don't know if you ever go to the gym, right? I go to the gym, I'm very intimidated, right? There's all the super buffed people and they're using these crazy machines and they're, you know, they're just so buffed and they're so sweaty and just wow, right? And they're just doing their calisthenics and it's just crazy, right? And I'm like super intimidated because I'm a nerd, right? And I'm just like, I don't know what to do. But the reality is if I just eat less, you know, and walk and run and maybe do some push-ups, huge impact on my physical fitness. So I don't need to be intimidated. So we've learned that lesson, right? We've learned some basics. We got to know our keywords. We've seen some tools for keywords. We know that there's page tags are important. We know there's a document that Google produces that tells us what tags are important. Wow. We've learned that links are important. We've seen that there's a tool to help us with links, right? We've learned some things like we've got to join the Google Mickey Mouse Club to get some information from Google to do better. So we kind of systematically have gone through a method, and in each step, there are tools that are relevant for that method. So that's kind of a wrap up. All right, so free stuff, right? I'll show you in a second. We can go over this, as well as you'll get an email for how to get the toolbook. The toolbook has, you know, literally hundreds of free tools, with the caveat that you kind of have to know what you're doing to use the tools. Just like if you went into the gym, you have to have some understanding of what those machines do, so you don't hurt yourself and you can make some good progress. So hopefully you find a nice, positive physical trainer, and he or she helps you kind of not be intimidated and learn some of the techniques. That's really kind of what my role is. Also, I recommend you sign up for our email alerts if you haven't, because we send out editions of the toolbook when they're new, when we republish them, and we also have our workbooks when we launch it. So that's a pitch for the free stuff. So pitch for our classes, shameless pitch. We're going to start our class on Tuesday. We're going to start SEO. So we're going to start with keywords, and that's a very systematic journey through SEO. So you learn that. We also have a specific class on local, like how to show up on Yelp and Google Local, class on AdWords, class on social media, which is your Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, etc. So we're going to take questions now, just sort of the, yay, there's a discount. So 10% discount code. You can go to jm-seo.org/login and click on the top 10 discount, and the password is really hard to remember, discount. That's going to give you 10% off. That's what I call the go tackle your boss, and get her credit card, and then run, and you can, hey, we're going to take a class and get pretty serious. So for very little money, you can really get yourself educated. So I hope you've enjoyed it so far. Hopefully everyone didn't fall asleep. I hope you enjoyed it a little bit, and Gloria hopefully has got some questions for me, and we'll talk a little bit about Q&A, and my goal is let's try to end right on the half hour, so have a nice short 1 hour webinar for you.
We do have questions, and our first question is, why is it that sometimes there are no reviews, but they are still showing at #1 spot at Google Plus while the competitors have more reviews?
Right. I don't know if I can show a search like that, but I do. I know exactly what you're talking about. So what we're talking about is, let's go over here to Google, and we can put in something. Usually you kind of see this more on more nuanced things. Let's maybe put in probate lawyer, something that's sort of specific. And you'll often see, let's try probate lawyer or Dallas or something, try a different city. So here's an example. Yeah, I thought I'd seen one of these. Okay, so here's our search term. Let me get my little marker guy. So probate lawyer, right? So somebody's passed away and we've got that whole problem with probate, and we're looking for an attorney that can help us. So we're going to do probate lawyer. We might do the city, Dallas, Tulsa, Oklahoma City, whatever. And then we've got the layout of our screen, right? So the layout of our screen, we have our snack pack, which is our local. And then below that, we have our organic. So here's our organic 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's our snack pack. Now the question is, why does this guy with no reviews outrank this guy who has 2 reviews? Okay. Now, Google doesn't exactly call me up and tell me, right? So I, like everyone else, am inferring. So here's your factors. So among your factors are, some are as simple as the closer you are to the center of the city, generally that helps you show. So if you're trying to show for Dallas and you're close to the downtown area, that's considered a positive. That's a minor positive, but it can be a tiebreaker. Other issues, how many inbound links do you have? That can be an issue. If you have more links than the next guy, that can help you. Your website optimization. This site may be totally focused on probate, very narrowly focused. That on-page optimization can work as well. So it's not just one factor that ever gets you to the top of Google, or Google Local in this case. It's those combination of factors that get you to the top: review count, closeness to the city center, on-page optimization of the website, inbound links, social authority, etc. Now, also remember, in this case, the top 3 show in the snack pack, and then the user has to go, okay, I want to look at more to pop over here. So, sad little Pike and Associates right there, #4, right? That's a really sad position, because if they had just made it to #3, they would show on that previous page. And, user behavior is not as many clicks go into the kaleidoscope in this way. So in this case, for instance, if I can show in the top 3, I'm pretty happy. That's a pretty good score. Certainly I want to be #1, but I really don't want to be #4. And if I can show down here as well, that's extra bonus. So that's kind of the answer. That's a great question, very important question for those of us that are doing local.
How can we use local SEO for multiple locations in terms of reviews?
Yes. Okay. So the question is, let's say you're a chain and you have multiple locations. So there's different scenarios. So one scenario is you're a local chain or maybe a national chain, and you have different locations, right? So I can show you an example of that. So this is sort of one scenario. So Pet Food Express, I'd done some consulting with them in the Bay Area a long time ago. I helped them. They took some classes from very nice people. So here's an example. So they have all these little stores, and they're totally local, totally legit, and each store has its own landing page on the website, and each store landing page has its own Google Plus page and its own Yelp page, right? So they have a Google Plus page for the Berkeley store, right? And they're sharing information on it, etc. And we can do a little test here. So let's do Berkeley pet stores or something. And let's see if we show. So there we are. So that's an example of an architecture of a chain. Every single location has its own local page, unique content, Google Plus account, Yelp account. The other scenario is a little bit more gray or dark or even, black hat, which is kind of naughty SEO. That's where maybe you have one store. Let's say this pet chain had only one store in Berkeley, but they also want to show in the neighboring town. They want to show in Oakland. They want to show in El Cerrito. Those are towns that are next to Berkeley. That gets a little bit more complicated. Kind of above the board, it's not very possible to show in the local snack pack. There are some dirty tricks, some ways that you can do that. I'm not going to explain those to you, but there are some ways around that. Long story short, you can see where it probably goes. You have to kind of get a fake address and spoof that. So that's the dark hat way of doing that. I'm not really going to recommend that you do that. The other way to deal with that problem is, unfortunately, to advertise. So you might have your home store in Berkeley and you're doing great, and you also want to show in Oakland, and you also want to show in El Cerrito, and you advertise. You do what we call a donut. You don't advertise in your home store because you show for free, and you advertise in the neighboring communities. So that's like a little donut strategy. So a little architecture there as to what's going on. If you're lucky enough to have multiple locations that are real, then you can do a very legitimate strategy and show across a number of locations.
How long do changes take to appear?
Yes. Okay, so how long do changes take to appear? So this is another kind of common question. So here's the idea. There's a lot of misconceptions, right? Always misconceptions. So the misconception is that Google treats every website the same. That's not true. They don't treat every website the same. They look at your website and you develop a reputation. So the more that you create new content, the more that you blog, right? The more that you create fresh content, the more rapidly they will index your changes, and the more rapidly you can kind of pivot to new keywords. So for instance, go to Google, type in site : with no space, and then type in a domain, site : twitter.com. And then go up here to search tools, anytime, past hour. And you're going to see Google is pulling Twitter content very rapidly because Twitter is, zooming along. So Twitter, stuff that happens on Twitter is going to be indexed and can show at the top of Google within minutes, right? Obviously, that's an extreme case. Now, I can take my own website, and I'm bad. I have not been blogging lately. Nothing in the past hour, nothing in the past 24 hours, nothing in the past week, past month, anything? Yes, right? So the past month, right, I did write a blog post on my blog December 31st, and that has been indexed. So I'm training Google that my personal website about my consulting and my books and stuff, that is changing at least maybe once a month. So it's trained. So in that sense, I could get it to index and change about in a month, right? Now, here's a problem for most of us. We're not blogging. We're not creating new content. We've just been sitting on that couch, eating those Doritos, watching them Netflix documentaries that just keep coming, right? We haven't done anything. So we have to get off the couch. We have to start blogging. We have to start creating content and retrain Google to index us more rapidly, Webmaster Tools is also a tool there. So you can train Google, and in that way, usually maybe a month is a good rule of thumb for a small business, but maybe 1 to 4 months, is sort of more reasonable for most if you're kind of doing it right. If you're doing it wrong, good luck, never. So that's the answer there.
I used one of the tools recommended in the SEO Fitness workbook and found that there are some spammy websites linking to mine. How important is it to get rid of the spammy incoming links?
Right. Okay, so that's what's called the Penguin update. So Google has an update called Penguin, and in that update, they kind of penalize sites that have spammy websites linking to them, for instance. So the first is sort of one of these quantity issues. So if you're ranking for your target keywords, right, that's the most important thing. If you're ranking, don't worry too much. That's the first principle. If you're ranking, don't pull your hair out and freak out. Let's say you're not ranking. Then you got to look at your inbound links. If you have a lot of really weird links, then you've got to worry about undoing them. And there's ways to undo them. The preferred way is to contact each and every one of those naughty websites and say, take down the link. That may or may not be possible. If you can't get them all, then there's a tool called the Disavow tool, which is inside of Google Webmaster Tools. And you can basically upload a file to Google and say, hey, I want to disavow these links and these links. And that would be the other way to do it. If it's a small proportion of your links, not a lot, then I wouldn't stress it too much. So again, now that's all assuming that you didn't respond to one of these weird emails that says, hey, we've got this blog network with 60,000 websites and we're going to link to you, on the phrase, most amazing Viagra, and you did that, and you now have 50,000 links that say amazing Viagra. If you are at that level of scale, you may be completely hosed and you have to restart your website. So it's one of these, it's a kind of how many is the main issue, and are you being penalized? And you would know if you're doing everything else right and you don't rank that you're under a penalty situation. It's a little bit technical there. So to try to keep it at an hour, we're going to wrap up now. Gloria will have some parting words for us. So some housekeeping. We will send you the video link. Don't worry, you'll get that probably tomorrow. It takes a little time to process all that stuff. That will have a link to the toolbook, so you'll be able to get the toolbook. If you're able to take the classes, yay, those start on Tuesday. You've got a discount link. Obviously, you can send us questions by email or call us on the phone. If there are any questions I did not answer, I will answer them through the email, and I'll send you a personal email with an answer to your question to the best of my ability. So thank you guys for watching. Gloria's going to wrap us up, and I hope to see a lot of you in our training starting on Tuesday.
That is a wrap. This was a really great group, very lively. We thank everyone who was able to attend, and remind everyone that we are going to be emailing that video recording with all the information, including the links and, of course, the SEO toolbook. Our paid training classes are going to start next week on Tuesday, February 2nd. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. We certainly hope that you can join us for that training and get your company to the top of Google for free. And Jason, we thank you for a great presentation as well. Everyone have a great day.
All right, thank you, everybody. Happy Friday. Have a good weekend, and yeah, off we go.
All right, goodbye.
Bye-bye.